Hello, good day, honorable judges. We are a team from SMAN Negeri Globally, proudly standing here to argue the motion social media brings more harm than good to the teenagers. I am Yenni Putri.
I am Abdul Razak.
And I am Misbahul Khairiyah. With logic as our weapon and words as our power, we are ready to battle, not with fists, but with ideas. Let the truth speak and reason win. Who are we? We
We
are
are
SMADA.
SMADA.
Be the
Be
one,
one,
we
we
can
can
do
do
it.
it. Good morning. Good morning, honorable judges, the opposition teams, and respected audience. It's a great privilege for me to stand here as the first speaker of the affirmative team on the motion this House believes that social media does more harm than good to teenagers. Let me begin with defining any terms. Social media refers to platforms like TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook, where users create and share content online. Teenagers are young people aged 13 to 19. Harm refers to any negative impact on teenagers' mental, emotional, or social well-being. Our team firmly believes that social media creates long-term damage to teenagers, damage that far outweighs any benefits. As the first speaker, I will present two key harms. First, mental health damage, and second, cyberbullying. My teammate, the second speaker, will continue with arguments on harmful content and addiction. Let's begin with mental health. Teenagers today are facing a record high level of stress, anxiety, and depression, and social media is a major reason. Why? Because social media creates constant pressure to compare to the perfect and to gain likes and followers. Teenagers often feel that everyone is prettier, richer, or more successful. This leads to low self-esteem, body dissatisfaction, and chronic anxiety. According to Indonesian Ministry of Health, about 1 in 3 teenagers show symptoms of mental illness, and social media is one of the key contributing factors. For example, in Jakarta, a 16 years old girl said she deleted Instagram because it made her feel not good enough every single day. That is not an isolated case. This is a pattern we see all across Indonesia. The second major harm is cyberbullying. Social media gives people the ability to post anonymous comments, spread rumors, or attack others instantly and publicly. A 2020 UNICEF Cominfo study showed that 45% of Indonesian teens have experienced online bullying. It happens in WhatsApp classrooms, TikTok comments, or Instagram stories. Cyberbullying is often invisible to adults, but deeply damaging to teens. It affects their mental health, focus in school, and in some cases leads to self-harm or suicide. A case from West Java involved a junior high school student who was bullied in her class WhatsApp group. For weeks, she became depressed, isolated herself, and eventually dropped out of school. This shows how dangerous and uncontrollable online bullying can be, and it's happening because of social media, not less. Ladies and gentlemen, for this reason, we, the affirmative team, believe that social media cause more harm than good in teenager life. Thank you, and I now pass to the floor for my second speaker, who will continue discuss by discussing harmful content and addiction.
Thank you for the opportunity. As the second speaker, I will explain the major harmful effects of social media on teenagers. Exposed to harmful content and addiction that causes a lack of focus. Let's start with the harmful content. Teenagers today are growing up in the digital world, and many of them spend several hours each day on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. But behind the fun videos and memes, there is a dark side that often goes unnoticed. Social media is full of content that is not suitable for young people. This includes violent video, sexual content, and hate speech, self-harm, encouragement, and dangerous challenges. Teenagers are still developing emotionally and exposed to these types of content, it can affect how they think, feel, and behave. For example, in the United States, a trend on TikTok called the Blackout Challenges became popular. These challenges encouraged users to choke themselves until they pass out, and unfortunately, it led to the deaths and several teenagers who tried it. It's not just a story, it's a real tragedy caused by content that spread too easily on social media. Another example is the presence of pro-ana or pro-anorexia content. On platforms like Instagram and Pinterest, there are accounts that promote starvation and unhealthy weight loss methods. These posts often include photos of extremely thin bodies and captions that encourage not eating. Teenagers who see this may feel pressure to look a certain way and develop eating disorders such as anorexia nervosa or bulimia. Evidence from research, scientific studies supports this concern. A study by O'Keefe and Clark Pearson in 2011 published in Pediatrics found that teenagers who are exposed to harmful online content may become more aggressive, anxious, and depressed. They may also develop a negative body image, thinking they don't good enough to compare to what they see in online. Another study by Name Body in 2020 points out that social media spreads dangerous misinformation and harmful content faster than traditional media, and that many teenagers are unable to tell the difference between true and false information. My second point is addiction and lack of focus. Social media platforms are built to be addictive. They are use smart algorithms, notification, and infinite scrolling to keep users coming back again and again. For many teenagers, checking out their social media become the first thing they do in the morning and the last thing they do before they go sleeping. This content's use can easily turn into addiction. Teenagers may find it hard to stop using social media, even when they know they should be doing homework, spending time with family, or resting. Their minds become used to getting quick dopamine, rewards from like, share, and message. Because of this, many teenagers today have trouble focusing while studying. They are often distracted by their phones. They check message or scroll through TikTok while pretending to do homework. This kind of multitasking might feel normal, but it actually reduces productivity and learning. For the real life examples, think of teenagers who spend 5 to 6 hours per day on Instagram or TikTok. They go to bed late, they skip homework, and they feel tired going to school. Over time, their grades begin to drop, and they feel anxious, when they're not online. This pattern is sadly very common. Also, many teenagers experience something called FOMO or fear of missing out. This means they have worried or stressed if they are not online to see what their friends are doing or posting. This anxiety pulls their attention away from real life. The scientific proof, a study by Kuss and Griffins in 2017 in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, explained that social media addiction has the same patterns as other behavioral addictions. Teenagers may experience withdrawal symptoms such as irritability or sadness when they can use their phones. Another study by Razak et al. In 2013 in computer in human behavior showed that students who use social media while studying remember less information and perform worse on tests compared to those who study without distraction. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, as the first speaker of the affirmative team, allow to me summarize and reinforce our stance that social media has a significantly negative impact on mental health. Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker laid the foundation by explaining how social media contributes to mental health damage, such as anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem, caused by constant comparison and the pressure to meet a realistic standards online. The second is cyberbullying, which occurs frequently on social media platforms, often anonymously, leading to emotional trauma and even suicidal thoughts. Third, the presence of harmful content, including violence, hate speech, and misinformation, which can distort reality and influence users negatively. Ladies and gentlemen, for the issue of addiction, how these platforms are designed to keep users scrolling endlessly, leading to time loss and destructive daily life. And finally, lack of focus, where constant notification and multitasking reduce users' attention span and productivity, especially among students and professionals. Now, let me emphasize why all these points matter. While the opposition may argue that social media helps people connect and access information, which we do not deny, our side has shown that the psychological harm it causes is far more serious and far-reaching. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, the arguments we've presented today make it clear social media may offer benefits, but it also brings serious mental health risks that cannot be ignored. It is time we recognize this and take action to protect mental well-being. Thank you.